So now that we have the Republican infrastructure plan, the Trump infrastructure plan that was revealed, which is not a great infrastructure plan to begin with, and I'll give you some details on that later. But the Democrats have finally put out their answer to the Trump infrastructure plan. Now, according to the Washington Post, the proposal unveiled by Democratic leaders on Wednesday would plow just over $1 trillion into a wide range of infrastructure needs, including $140 billion in direct spending for roads and bridges, $115 billion for water and sewer infrastructure, and $50 billion to rebuild schools. Now, that is interesting. So that's a lot better than Trump's infrastructure plan, which only spends $200 billion federal money and relies on mostly states and private financing to make up the rest of the $1.5 trillion. So, yes, the Democratic plan is $1 trillion. The Trump plan is 1.5. But again, most of that 1.5 comes from private financing and the states. So, look, the states are already having a hard time being able to afford, taking care of their priorities. Now they're going to try and get more state funding into doing... Look, I live in Michigan. We have terrible roads. We have terrible roads. We have potholes everywhere. It's a disaster. Our country's infrastructure overall rates somewhere around a D, maybe a D minus. It's terrible. So, and making sure that private investment invests most. Well, okay, what are private corporations? What do they do? They're there to make a profit. That is their entire motive for existence. They are money-making machines, which is fine, which works when you're selling sneakers, but not when you're actually working on the public works, when you're working on roads and bridges. Now, knowing that these corporations are only there to make a profit, well, where do you think they're going to put up most of their investment? In places where they can make a return on investment. So, yes, the busiest roads and the busiest streets, they're going to get that money, right? They're going to get repaired. Now, the thing is, in order to make that return on investment, what are they going to do? They're going to put up toll roads. So, Trump's infrastructure plan is toll roads everywhere. Now, if you already hate toll roads, well, then you're in for a shock. Because you are not going to like Donald Trump's plan. Now, the Democrats, however, say, no, we're not going to go that route. You know how we're going to pay for it? We're going to tax the rich. Yes, that is what I'm talking about. So let me go to the details here. Now, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said that the plan sets up a stark contrast for voters ahead of the midterm elections. He says, we believe overwhelmingly the American people would prefer building infrastructure and creating close to 15 million middle-class jobs than giving tax breaks for the wealthy. Now, the spending, and he means by, of course, he wants to claw back some of those tax cuts. The spending, according to the Washington Post, would be offset by clawing back 2/3 of the revenue lost in the Republican tax bill by reinstating a top income tax rate of 39.6%, restoring the individual alternative minimum tax, reversing cuts to the estate tax, and raising corporate income tax from 21 to 25%. Now, that is a start. Now, overall, corporations still get a 10% tax cut. Because, again, they went from 35 to 21. This would raise it back to 25. Again, that's a small tax increase on corporations. But you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it for now. That would actually help out quite a bit and allow us to pay for infrastructure, which, look, we could afford to do infrastructure already. Again, I've been studying up on MMT, and I think that is how the economy actually works. So you can just print money out of nowhere because we have the world's reserve currency and we print our own money. As long as we have the resources to actually build roads and bridges, then we could build roads and bridges and not have to worry about debt. Because that's actually not a real thing. Who are we in debt to? Ourselves. But anyway, look, The Democrats, of course, unfortunately have fallen into that right-wing trap of, oh no, we have to actually finance things before we do them. And that's not actually how the real economy in America works. It's more like a household economy. And that's one of the lies, of course, that the right and now the center wants to push. But regardless of all of that, here's the Democratic plan, and it stands in stark contrast to the Republican plan. And the Republican plan, as I mentioned before, is toll roads everywhere. Let's privatize all the roads, privatize all the bridges, and put up toll booths everywhere. Now, think about Flint, right? Now, do you think that a lot of companies are going to invest in fixing the waterways in Flint? Right now, there are still people in Flint drinking poisoned water. Do you think the corporation is going to actually invest in Flint? No, because there's no return on investment. There's no return on investment. So, look, the places that need infrastructure the most, and this includes a lot of areas where Donald Trump supporters live, overwhelmingly, places that vote overwhelmingly for Republicans, they're not going to get infrastructure. They're not going to get their roads fixed. No, what's going to happen is these places are going to get ignored because there is no way to extract profit from those areas. Now, much of the Schumer program, or I'm sorry, much of the Democratic plan, would send money to infrastructure priorities like highways, transit, and waterways. Schumer also highlighted less conventional spending priorities, including $40 billion to build high-speed internet connections in rural areas and $80 billion to upgrade the country's energy grid. So again, there's a lot of good stuff in this bill. That's great. And I actually like to see, I actually like this plan. There's a lot of good stuff in it. Yes, it doesn't roll back the taxes on the rich quite enough, or the corporations quite enough. But again, corporate Democrats, oh, we're only going to push for a little bit of change. We're only going to restore just a little bit of the tax cuts because our donors will get very, very angry with us if we roll back all the tax cuts for the rich. But hey, look, we're making some progress. Wonderful. Now, again, you want to compare this to the Trump tax plan. Okay, well, which one do you think the American people will prefer? More toll booths or taxing the rich to actually pay for real infrastructure? Well, I'm going to give you this poll. According to Reuters Ipsos, 3/4 of Americans believe the wealthiest should pay more in taxes. And of course, most Americans, and I don't need to have a scientific polling to back this up, are not a fan of toll booths. So, but hey, look, about damn time the Democrats actually did something and put forward some sort of plan. Wonderful. Now, of course, seeing as how we're dealing with the Democrats, I wonder how long it will take before Chuck Schumer folds. Again, my famous cynicism plays into this. But I love the plan. It's a great plan. Whatever you do, do not back away from it. Do not compromise. Do not, falter. Actually stand up, because, again, if you actually want to show that you're serious about doing something about for the country, well, then you should stick to this plan. Because, again, it sticks it to the rich and actually does something that is desperately needed here in America. This is the kind of policy that we want to see. So whatever you do, Democrats, do not relent on this. Keep pushing this, keep promoting this, and keep making contrasts between this plan and Donald Trump's plan. And I can guarantee that you will get people on your side. As long as you try not to, haggle with Republicans. No, present this bill as is and be strong about it. Be strong, be progressive, and who knows, you might actually be able to win some elections and, more importantly, pass policy. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.